Our next inductee was a high school champion, college finalist, and a three-time qualifier for the national finals. Pete Fredericks was described by his fellow cowboys as a tough pareback rider and a strong saddle bronc competitor. There are great stories created by each of these men. When great bronc rides are described, one of the great ones was by Pete Fredericks. He rode Harry Knight's Silver King at Fort Worth, and it's still talked about today, a part of rodeo history created by this inductee. Pete was a national high school champion 2 times, intercollegiate bareback and all-around finalist. He was one of the stars of the national finals. Pete went to the national finals 3 times and was runner-up champion in 1961. He was also 15th in the world that year in the all-around. Pete was a star in the rodeo arena who gave to his fellow man. He was one of the leaders who first started the rodeo team at Dickinson State. They recruited such a good team that it became a mainstay of Dickinson University sports. Pete was also instrumental in founding the Indian National Finals Rodeo. He was selected as Man of the Year in 1976 for the Indian National Finals. Pete was known as a tough competitor who gave much back to the sport of rodeo. Let's welcome a great champion and humanitarian, Pete Fredericks.
Thank you, Winston, for the build-up. I think it's pretty wild, but I'll accept it. First of all, I'd like to thank God for the gift to ride horses in rodeos and win a championship that I did. I am very honored to be inducted into the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank the board of directors and the trustees for nominating me and selecting me for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank the people that were responsible for the development of the National Cowboy Hall of Fame, namely Evelyn Nunes, Phil Beard, and the man that runs it, Gerald Organ. I think he's doing a good job. I'd like to thank my family and my friends for all coming to this. I think it's very fitting that they should be recognized at this time. I would like to especially remember my cousin Manuel, Joe's brother, putting the icon in my system to be a rodeo rider. I'd like to also remember my dad put me on my first saddle bronc, or bronc at the ranch 1/4 mile from the Little Missouri River, which is this river. He bucked me off, but he had it snubbed up. And I remember he made me get back on. I was 6 years old. I'd like to thank and remember my brother Buzz when the going was tough and when my rodeo career was in its infancy. He was always there. And I was in the Miles City Buccaneer sale, and its first annual. We had to get on 10 saddle broncs and 10 barebacks, and they were all shoot fighters. And I was pretty scared. I'd like to thank the Mandaree singers for providing their song today. I am very honored to be here today and feel that I've made me feel very proud. North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame is something to be remembered, and I'll remember it as one of the best things in my life. I would also like to remember Juanita. She is my sister from Cheyenne, and she always had a warm home while we were riding hard with the rest of my cowboy friends in my endeavors to make the finals. Thank you.